formidable. I can do what I want, it's my own call. Having fun on YouTube is so wonderful. All the hate and dislike I just ignore. You might want to ask what for. I want to be independent and do my own thing, even if I can't really sing. And to all the haters I just say get bent. Use all the hate and don't masturbate. Use it on something that can change your shit fate. I want to be known for my individuality and I want to have some fucking personality. And with that introduction, it was a mixture of KSI, Uncontrollable, and my own lyrics. Probably failed. But anyways, hope you guys liked the introduction. I know a lot of people probably clicked off, except for the people who liked the singing, I guess. And anyways, I'm back and I'm doing an r/MaliciousCompliance video because it did pretty well. Let's get straight into the video. This one's titled Ex-Girlfriend Wouldn't Let Me Break the Lease, so I walked in her new boyfriend, fucking her right in the pussy. This happened 10 years ago. I was dating this girl for a year and things were pretty well. Both of the leases on our separate apartments were coming for renewal and we decided to get a place together so our relationship would go to the next level and we'd also save a good bit of money. This way you don't be cheap and don't rush into things. At the time, I could really see myself with this girl. What guy can't? Guys are idiots. So, we signed a year lease on a new place and for the first 4 months or so things were great. Then our relationship starts to fall apart. Not assigning blame there, but you know how it is, it just didn't work out. The bummer though was she started to get pretty nasty to me. After a few really ugly fights, I decided to move out in a hurry. I got a cheap place across town and moved out on a Saturday because I just couldn't bear it anymore. So after about a week, I call off enough to call her and ask her to get a new roommate and take me off the lease. She says no. I don't have time to get a new roomie and I can't afford the place alone. So, for the next 2 weeks, I find 2 mutual friends willing to move in. Gotta hit that rebound. RIP headphone users. She rejects them for stupid reasons and hasn't lifted a finger to find a suitable roommate. No shit, Sherlock. It dawns on me that she intends to live in this place alone for the next 8 months while I pay half the rent and half the utilities. Oh hell no to the no. At this point, I'm pissed. I am now paying 2 leases and utilities and so on. Technically it's 1.5, but you know. I got some money in the bank. Money in the bank. So I'm not in danger, but I can't afford to do this for long. And it just isn't reasonable. Oh hell no, I ain't gonna waste my money like that. I found out during our week without contract that she had already started dating another guy. I know that is super quick. A few days from our breakup. That just means she had a side man. Oh, get wrecked. But I have no evidence she ever cheated, so no big deal. Lol, tell yourself that, kid. However, I did know that my ex was insatiable and we had sex every morning we were together, like clockwork. More like morning woodwork. She had to get out of the house to make work by about 8:45 AM, so we would have sex about 7:45 or so every morning. Our relationship had its positive aspects, and her being really into and amazingly good at sex was one of those good parts. Lucky guy. So anyway, I hatched a plan to get out of the lease. So the next morning, I get to our old place about 7:45 and wait in my truck until 7:50 AM, figuring I knew her well enough to know it was good timing. You creepo. Our place was a studio and the bed, our old bed, was across from the front door and to the right was a little kitchen / dining area. So I turned the key and opened the door as fast as possible and I was not disappointed. My ex was riding this guy and making eye contact with him. LOL. I'll never forget the look and shock, maybe mixed with a shame on his face. Or maybe he could share. She rolls off him and pulls the cover up over them because you know he hasn't seen her naked. They both are naked. Don't mind me, I say and go into the cupboard. Get some Lucky Charms that I bought that are still there. I pour a bowl, add some milk and start chowing down, watching them. The dude can't move because his clothes aren't nearby. My ex is like, get the hell out of here. And I say, I'm still on this lease. This place is my place, but you go ahead. Don't let me interrupt you. Please don't let me interrupt you. She starts screaming at me, curses me out, throws a couple of shoes at me, misses, because you know, she's a Wayman, and basically has a meltdown from the bed while I calmly eat my cereal for about 15 minutes. Then I say, "Oh, will you look at the time? I gotta get to work." This dude didn't move an inch or open his mouth. Poor guy just watching this happen. I say to you, dude, have no fear and carry on. You need to perform on the big occasions, especially when you have a crowd around. Oh. The next day, I open the door at 7:40 AM this time. Her and her new boyfriend are awake and dressed. I say, "Oh, good morning, Cheerios, I have some bagels." With a totally fake cheery smile, I put the bag of bagels and cream cheese on the counter and say, "I'm just gonna get a shower real quick." She is calmer this time, but starts swearing. She is gone when I get out of the shower, so I make a bagel and head out myself, taking her boyfriend with me, making him have a ride downtown. Giggity giggity. I show up again at about 8 PM with some Chipotle. They are sitting on the bed watching TV. I sit at the counter on a bar stool, start tearing into my burrito. At least one of them's eating some good meat. And start chatting like I'm their best friend. "So, what are we watching tonight?" "Oh, awesome. I haven't seen that shows in years. Cool." I stay for about 30 minutes, eating my burrito and then asking the guy stupid questions. Just being super annoying. I recognize him from her friend group, but I honestly don't know his name. He seems super nervous and doesn't say much. My ex is really pissed and is fuming. The third morning, I show up at 7:45 AM. They aren't there. I take a shower, eat some cereal, and leave a polite note about how I'm sorry I missed them, and I'll see them later tonight. That day at work, I got a bunch of faxes from my ex requesting my signature on a new lease on the apartment, as well as signatures cancelling our power, water, cable and internet bills. I really enjoy signing all of those, faxing them back. I never saw or heard from either of them again. I was reading this, I'm not going to read it all out, but the last bit says, "And lastly, to all the people calling me a cock and say, seriously, are you 12? We were broken up at this point, this was about money." Damn dude, you're missing out on free shows that way. Just have to pay rent and you get some free shows to watch live. Shame on you, dude. I'm only joking, of course. This one's titled, "I don't care if he's dead, put him on the phone." I was sent here on a recommendation from another sub with a story you guys might like. First time poster, on mobile, etc. TLDR at the bottom. My father died on Father's Day 2012. Oh, the irony is real with that one. I'm such a dickhead. He was divorced and living alone. All by himself. I am the only child. Damn, that's heartbreaking. So that means that I had to wrap all of the affairs. The story centers around us trying to get his utilities cancelled. I called in to see what we had to do to get them cancelled. The lady I spoke with on the phone said to send in his certified death certificate. I sent in the certified copy of his death certificate the next day. The next month, got another bill. I called again and the new woman answered. She said that because I wasn't on contact that she had to speak with the account holder. I informed her that the account holder was dead, but she wouldn't budge. I had to make an appointment with a supervisor so she could speak to him herself in person. Come on, Caspar, show yourself. You're just a friendly ghost now. I showed up at the Board of Public Utilities with another death certificate and his ashes in a clear bag because I can't afford a urine. Is that what it's called? Probably butchered that. That they returned his remains in. I plopped them down on the center of her desk and said, when she talks to him, to tell him that I loved him for me. The woman went pale, flew out of her chair and called the cops. When they showed up, she claimed that I had assaulted her, and yes, my dad's remains were still sitting on the middle of her desk with the death certificate. The cops questioned me as to why I would do that. I told them the story. The supervisor's boss was called in and they all stepped away from the desk for a private talk. While they were talking, the cops came over to talk to me. They said that I shouldn't take human remains out in public, but there was no law that were broken. I said that I agree with them that it was extreme. Cops can't be telling you shit, man, if you ain't breaking the law. They're meant to enforce the law. Dickheads. but she insisted to speak with him in person. By then they were done talking between themselves. The supervisor's boss kissed up to me and got it taken care of, leaving a bit of chocolate mark all over her face.